Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam semangat untuk kita semua. Kegagalan adalah hal yang ingin dihindari oleh semua orang pastinya. Semua orang yang hidup di dunia ini pasti ingin menghindari kegagalan, dan pasti mereka semua tidak ingin merasakan kegagalan. Mulai dari yang berkapasitas kecil hingga berkapasitas yang besar, semua itu tergantung masing-masing kapasitas dari dalam diri kita. Dan pada kesempatan kali ini, kita akan belajar bagaimana cara orang terkaya di dunia mengubah kegagalan yang mereka hadapi menjadi sebuah kemenangan dan kesuksesan yang luar biasa.
I had a lot of fail. I failed for funny things that I failed a key primary school test for 2 times, and I failed 3 times for the middle schools. You know, for 3 years I tried to fail in the universities. So I applied jobs for 30 times, got rejected. I went for a police, they said, no, you're not good. I went to even the KFC. When KFC came to China, come to my city, 24 people went for the job. 23 people were accepted. I was the only one guy. And we went for police. 5 people, 4 of them accepted. I was the only guy that I received it. So to me, being turned down, rejected. Oh, by the way, I told you that I applied for Harvard for 10 times, rejected. I know I'll be rejected. I just don't want to say that.
Yeah, sorry now.
I think we have to get used to it. We're not that good. Even today, we still have a lot of people reject us. I don't think in this world there are a lot of people be rejected more than 30 times. If we, the only thing we never give up. The only thing we're like a Forrest Gump. We keep on fight. We keep on change ourselves. We don't complain. Whether you were successful or not successful, I find that people, when they finish the job, if they make the mistake, if they fail, if they always complain the others, this guy will never come back. If the guy only check himself, yeah, something wrong with me here, something wrong with me there, this guy has a hope.
Yeah, 2008, we had the 3rd consecutive failure of the Falcon 9 rocket for SpaceX. Tesla almost went bankrupt. We closed our financing round 6 p.m. Christmas Eve, 2008. We would have gone bankrupt 2 days after Christmas otherwise.
There are many more ways to fail than to succeed. So you have to explore. Particularly for a rocket, there's 1,000 ways to think and fail, and 1 way it can work. So you could have a lot of rocket failures to explore all the ways in which it could fail. But I do think that one great thing about Silicon Valley is that failure is not a big stigma. So it's if you try hard and it doesn't work out, that's okay. You can learn from that and do another company, and it's not a big deal. And I think that's really one of the great things about Silicon Valley. I think it's quite painful and difficult, honestly, and it feels terrible. And even when you've got a lot of really smart people working super hard to minimize the probability of failure, it's still there. And
for me, the thing I worry about the most is that we would lose our way in one of those things, that we would lose our obsessive focus on customers, or would somehow become short-term oriented, or would start to become overly cautious, kind of failure averse, and therefore unable to invent and pioneer. You cannot invent and pioneer if you cannot accept failure. To invent, you need to experiment. And if you know in advance that it's going to work, it is not an experiment. And so that's a very important thing. They're inseparable twins, failure and invention. And so you have to be willing to do that. And it's embarrassing to fail. It's always embarrassing to fail. But you have to say, no, that's not how this works. If I said to you, you have a 10% chance with a particular decision, a 10% chance of a 100x return, you should take that bet every time. But you're still going to be wrong 9 out of 10 times. And it's going to feel bad 9 out of 10 times. And with technology, the outcomes, the results can be very long-tailed. The payoff can be very asymmetric, which is why you should do so much experimentation.
So 1 year later,
after launching OWN. Nearly every media outlet had proclaimed that my new venture was a flop. Not just a flop, but a big, bold flop, they call it. So this past year, I had to spoon feed those words to myself. And when you're down in the hole, when that moment comes, it's really okay to feel bad for a little while. Give yourself time to mourn what you think you may have lost. But then, here's the key. Learn from every mistake. Because every experience, encounter, and particularly your mistakes are there to teach you and force you into being more of who you are. And then figure out what is the next right move.
Begitulah cara orang terkaya di dunia mengubah kegagalan yang mereka hadapi menjadi sebuah kemenangan dan kesuksesan yang luar biasa. Bagaimana menurut kalian? Apakah kita siap untuk menghadapi kegagalan kita nanti? Dan apakah kita siap untuk mengubah kegagalan kita menjadi kesuksesan yang luar biasa? Kita pasti bisa. Untukmu pejuang sukses, semangat!